Hi, I'm Dana, and today I want to talk about being, quote unquote, immature as an autistic adult, because it's one of those things that I've seen often enough recently that I think it's becoming a stereotype. I think there's always been some degree of a stereotype that autistic people act younger than we are, that we are childish, but I think that there's a very specific type of sort of immaturity that's being viewed towards autistic people. Mostly because of social media, I think. They're seeing sort of more of like the inner workings of an autistic life and seeing them as being immature. And I wanted to take a minute to talk about why I don't think they are immature and why I think it's actually really rude and unnecessary. There's a lot of noise happening outside my house today. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. I really wish I could. So, I think a lot of us as children were told that we were really mature. I think that that's, a very common thing I've seen online. It's something that I definitely experienced myself as well. It was annoying. I was seen as an old soul. I was a gifted child. I was very grown up and mature until I hit around 14. And all of a sudden, everyone in school was constantly telling me how immature and childish I was. And the older I get, the more I've tapered down certain traits and changed parts of my personality to not come across as childish or immature. And it sucks. And I don't think that it's that we are childish or immature. I think it's that we're autistic. So let's get into it. So my first point is that lots of us struggle with social situations. We may miss body language, we may miss jokes, we may miss facial expressions, tone of voice. There's lots and lots of things that I miss with people, and lots of times that I've been made to feel really stupid. And I've had a lot of times that I've felt very infantilized by people when I've made a little social faux pas, when I've not picked up on something, when I've misunderstood something. And they're probably seeing me as being really childish and stupid when it's just, I don't have this side of the social brain that you're expecting me to pull out. This is just me being autistic. It's not me acting like a child. It's not me being immature. I just don't understand. I haven't got it. I haven't picked it up. And I think more specifically, this can often come, in my experience, it's more often come when I haven't picked up on this rule is one that's supposed to be broken, or I was supposed to lie about something. That was a big one at the last job that I had where I was taken advantage of and not paid properly. I would often not lie to clients. I wouldn't lie to the people that came in. I would tell them the truth about things, and my boss would be in the background just and I was I don't get fucking facial expressions or hand motions either, buddy. I don't know what's going on. But so often it's very much autistic things like a strong sense of justice, or not telling lies, or not breaking rules. And I feel like I'm just being a decent person and doing what I'm meant to, but I'm being seen as immature and childish and a bit of an idiot, which isn't right or fair or real. Rude. A really minor one that I've seen a lot of people point out other people for being immature due to is struggling to control volume. And I think it's really shitty. Especially in high school, when I was most pointed out as being immature and childish, really struggled to control my volume. And it's something I'm better at now. Not always perfect. I'm still sometimes too loud or too quiet or whatever else. I'm not perfect with it, but I've definitely gotten better with it. However, I have a recent example. There was a new person that I had round in the house. I didn't invite them. I don't like inviting new people to my house. But there was a new person in the house. And when they left, my housemate was like, God, weren't they loud? They were so loud. What a fucking child. They were just shouting. Why are they like that? That's so childish. They're so immature. And I was like, yeah, they're probably just neurodivergent and don't get to how to control their volume. I didn't think anything of outside of, oh, they were a bit loud. I didn't see it as a negative or anything weird or anything immature. I was just a bit loud. But other people don't see it like that. Other people have a negative opinion on that, and I think that's really shitty and rude. That's what this video is. Here's things that I think other people think about autistic people, and it's mean. I feel like the moments that people have most viewed me as being really childish and immature and just a bit whiny is when I'm having sensory difficulties. People don't understand sensory difficulties because they're fine. So they think you're a bit of a child. They think you're overreacting. They think you're being whatever. And I think it's definitely one of the big things that people view as being immature, especially for me in my experience when it comes to eating issues or crowded places. They're the times that I've been made to really feel like a bit of an idiot and a bit of a child, and have been called immature for not being able to handle crowds or not wanting to eat certain things. And you know, even now I boil it down to like, oh, I didn't want to eat that. I couldn't eat that. I have sensory difficulties around food and I would have been gagging and feeling nauseous. I can't eat it. But people make you feel like you're acting like a child. Like, just try it, just eat it. You're an adult, just force it down. I can't do it. It's gross. And it's, you know, there's been a lot of situations, especially when I'm like at someone's house or something, and I am trying to force down this grim ass meal, and I can't do it. I can't do it. And especially with like crowds, when lots of people are bumping up against me and it's really loud and I feel like I can't get out, it's panic inducing, it's really scary. And there's been a lot of times, like not recently because I have much better people in my life, but especially in like my early 20s and late teens, I had so many times in like bars and clubs and just like really crowded events where I just had to get out, and people, like, I'm the kind where I don't want to be a burden, I don't want to trouble anyone. So I was very like, you guys can all stay and I'll just go, it's fine, but I need to go. And the shittier people that I was friends with at the time, and these have been various groups, would make a whole thing of like, no, we all need to leave now because Dana wants to leave, Dana can't handle a crowd. You know, they weren't like that. I would have realised they were shitty a lot faster if they were. But that was the message. It was, oh, Dana's ruined the day again by being a child. We're all going to have to go and look after Dana now. And I didn't want them to. I wanted to just leave and go home and be left alone. But it then felt like you have to go back to someone's house and continue having drinks and be, oh no, I'm fine now, I'm fine. When I'm not fine, I still want to go home. But anyway, I think the most annoying part of situations like that is that you're then also judged for how you self-soothe. You know, for me, it's very much like I've just suppressed a whole ass meltdown. I wanted to cry and stim and just have a meltdown. And I've suppressed the whole entire thing to not come across as more of a child or to not seem more immature or more of a burden or whatever else. And now I'm still surrounded by people, so I can't even self-soothe by stimming or, you know, lots of people use plushies. Lots and lots. I follow so many autistic people that use plushies to self-soothe, and they enjoy collecting them or have them as a special interest. Like, plushies are popular in the autism community, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really get it. I loved cuddly toys and plushies as a kid, like most people do. I personally grew out of it. I don't, you know, like with most things, I'm not judging it. Good for you. Whatever helps. I'm never going to try and intentionally shit on anyone. I don't personally understand the whole plushie thing. But I've seen a lot of shit about that. I've seen so many people getting shot on for being immature and being a child. Oh my god, you're 23 and you still have plushies. Leave them alone. You know, like, I'm not personally a plushie person, but I have like action figures. I've got Pop Funkos, and they're things that like are age appropriate for me to collect for some reason. And it's like, what, so like if I get the soft version of Hannibal Lecter, suddenly I'm a baby? I don't really get it. I don't get the stigma. I don't get people being shitty about it. Just enjoy your fucking stuffed animals, like, god. But things like that, things like fidgets, different things to stim with, chew stims. Stimming in general is often seen as like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you being a child? Why are you being immature? Why are you being weird? And it shouldn't be. Like, the more autistic people I get to know, the more people I know who do use things that would be seen as immature to self-soothe. Things like the little jars, sensory jars. So many sensory things are just seen as being childish, and even marketed and catered and centred towards autistic children or children in general. And I just think it's a bit weird because they're not childish. They're things that are genuinely helping people. So I don't see the stigma, I don't get the shittiness. I think it's great, you know? Same with plushies, same with whatever you use to self-soothe that might be seen as childish or immature. I don't think it is. I think you're being very mature and adult to have found something you can self-soothe with and that can make you feel better. I don't see any negative in that, as long as it's something that isn't harmful to you or anyone else, of course. You know, if it's just something like fucking plushies, go for it. And finally, I think that for me personally, one of the big reasons that I'm often, or at least I often feel like I'm being viewed as immature and childish, is that I feel like I'm sort of lacking a lot of the experiences that a lot of other people have had, you know? I couldn't cope with college, so I sure as hell didn't make it to uni and freshers week and getting a 2-1 and graduation. Like, all of that university experience that like everyone I know seems to have had, I did not have. And even if my mental health hadn't fallen to shit, I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to university. I get crippling anxiety about debt. Like, I focus a lot on university, okay? I feel a lot of shame for not having attended, so this is something I narrow in on. But I feel like that combined with like I've never really had a proper like full-time real proper job. Like I was working crazy hours for 2 years at my last job, but it wasn't like, you know, I could show up whatever time I wanted. I just wanted to show up at 10 a.m. and do a 12-hour shift. That was just what I did for free. I've never had the situation where like I need to clock in on time, I need to leave at this time. You know, I just feel like I somehow avoided / skipped out / skipped past a lot of the experiences that other people my age and older have had. And I don't know how true that rings for like the autistic community on the whole, because obviously lots of us do make it to uni and lots of us do have jobs. We're all vastly different. But that's my experience, and I guess I'm just curious if anyone else feels like that. I just feel like a lot of like, you know, like even like I didn't date anyone until I was 16, which I know is still like really young. But I also felt like everyone around me in high school was dating someone, you know, from the age of like 13. Lots and lots of people were dating, so I even felt like I got to that quite late. And then I was stuck with the same guy for 8 years. So I didn't do all these like fun little first dates and hooking up and whatever else, which again, I don't think I'm a hookup type of person. I don't think that's something I would have done anyway. But I still feel like I've sort of missed out and lacking that experience in some way. You know, it's not so much that like, oh, I wish I'd done that. It just seems to me that a lot of neurotypical people have all experienced very similar things, like all the way through their life. Whereas I feel like I sort of had like general life experiences in high school, and then things got very different for me. And, you know, I spent many a year self-isolating and not going out and being super fucking depressed. I missed out on a lot of the things that other people were doing. And I feel like that's definitely impacted my ability to like relate to them and to be seen as like a mature growing up. I definitely probably delayed some areas of my brain by not going out and meeting people for years. But yeah, I think that there's probably at least a couple of other people that have done that. Please, I hope. But for now, I have done enough talking. I feel like I've been talking forever. So I'd love for you to do some talking. I would love to get some comments on this video. I've, number one, actually got videos scheduled quite far into the future. I'm several weeks ahead and I'm fucking proud of myself. Let's hope we keep it up. And I've secondly, just on the most recent video currently, which went up yesterday, it was the Heartbreak High one, I've started answering comments as soon as they come. So hopefully I keep up with that and I will actually reply to comments that you leave on this video, because you're all very interesting people that I really enjoy reading from. I wanted to say hearing from, but I'm not hearing you, but I like reading your opinions, you know. So please do leave them. Please do like and subscribe if you're new around here. It'd be lovely to have you as this part of it. It'd be lovely to have you as part of this really nice little community that's going on here. I post videos twice a week. All my links will be down below. And whoever you are and wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, day, afternoon, week, month, year. And I'll see you again in a few days.